All right, welcome back, music students. Today we are looking at two lessons, actually, lesson 22 and lesson 23. Now, these are two separate assignments, but the lessons themselves go so well together that it just made sense to do them in one video instead of doing two separate videos. So I'll go through both lessons, go through the exercises. The assignments are almost exactly the same for both lesson 22 and lesson 23. So that'll actually be pretty easy, I think, once you get into it. Lesson 22 is due on Wednesday night. Lesson 23 is due on Thursday night. So if you just want to go through the first half of the video and do lesson 22, that's fine. You can come back and do lesson 23 later. But for now, let's get started with lesson 22. We're talking about the flat sign, and it looks kind of like a lowercase b. When you add a flat sign in front of a note, that means you're going to lower the pitch of the note. So I like to think if you flatten something, see the word flat at the beginning there, you flatten something, you push it down, right? So on the keyboard, you're going to, oops, not that. You're going to move to the left. Or you can think of lowering the note. All right, so if I see this, the flat sign is in front of an A in the treble clef. That means instead of playing just the A, I'm actually going to go lower. I'm going to go to the next lowest, and I would be playing that black key on the keyboard. That is A flat. Now you notice when I speak it, I'm saying A flat, and when it's written out that way with the letter, you could put it that way, but the flat sign itself with the note always goes in front. It's important, it must be in front. When you draw a flat sign, it's like a vertical line with kind of a little half heart or a curved line. And you always want to make sure it's centered the same way that the notes are. So if I'm drawing it with a line note, just like how the line goes right through the middle of the note, it goes through the middle of that open part of the flat sign, okay? If it's a space note, notice how it's centered in the space, just like the note is. So right now, I would like you to go ahead and do those two practice exercises right there, just drawing in the flats in front of the notes. If you would like to hit pause at this point, you can do so and go finish yours, or you can do that later. Now the exercises. In the examples, write flat signs before each note and then name the notes. So there's two parts to each one. You draw the flat sign. Well, that wasn't a very good one. And then you name the note. Now when I name it, it's no longer just the letter by itself. I need to put the flat sign. Remember, in bass clef, the spaces spell all cows eat grass, and the lines spell good burritos don't fall apart. So I draw my flat, wow, sorry. Draw my flat, name it. Draw my flat, name it. You can do the rest there. Number 2 is probably the trickiest. So first of all, you need to know what the names of the notes are on the keyboard. And we did this way, way back at the beginning of our studies this semester. So maybe you don't remember, and that's okay because they actually show you a little bit of it right there. And another way to remember is before each group of 2 black keys, the white key right in front of it is a C, and everything else is just alphabetical. So if you need to, you could write in the letter names there, or you can refer to the diagram up above, or maybe you know it from playing piano, or just remember it. So that one right there is lining up with this black key. Just remember, to figure out the flat, it's the note going lower. This one, It's this key here. So that's E flat. Make sure you line it up correctly before you figure out the note name. Number 3, write a treble clef, and then we're going to write the notes using half notes. So first thing, treble clef. Remember, in treble clef, space spells face, and the line notes are every good boy does fine. So G, half note with the flat. Please make sure your stems are going in the correct direction. And I need to be able to tell where it is. If you drew a G down here, that's not close enough for me. I need to be able to tell that it's on or very close to that line. If you just draw these notes in random spots, you're not going to get credit. They need to be the correct note names. Number 4 is bass clef. Draw the bass clef. And then quarter notes. So here's an E flat, C flat. Again, be careful with the stem direction. Remember, it's all about that center line. On or above that line, your stem's going down. Okay, so that's lesson 22. You could pause it now and save lesson 23 for later. Or you can go right to lesson 23 because it goes so closely with it, so well with it. Lesson 23 is the opposite of flats. It's sharps, which looks kind of like a little hashtag or tic-tac-toe sign, but it existed long before the hashtag was a thing. And a sharp raises the pitch. So a flat lowered the pitch and a sharp raises. I like to think, if you sharpen something, it's pointy. Think pointing up. Now we're going to move it to the right on the keyboard. So if I see C sharp, here's my C, I go up, I raise it to the next key. So this would be C sharp. Be really careful. Flats, lower, sharps, raise it. So if I was looking for this key as a flat, it would be D flat. So same note. Could go either way. But we won't worry about that for now. Okay, flats lower, sharps raise it. To draw a sharp, you've got the 2 vertical lines and then the 2 slanted lines. And just like we centered the flat signs and the notes, you're going to do the same thing with the sharp. The inside box, kind of the center square of the tic-tac-toe, that is what needs to be centered with the line going through it. Or if it's the space note, that box is centered in the space. So please, at this time, do those practice examples where you'll add the sharp in front of the note. And again, please notice I say C sharp or F sharp or whatever it is, but the sharp always is written in front of the note. All right, the exercises are exactly the same as the flat lesson, but now we're working with sharps. Just a few small changes. So in the example, we're writing sharps before the note and naming them. So we're in treble clef. Space spells face, that's F, and I have to put the sharp there or I didn't correctly name it. I draw the sharp, and when I name it, I still include the sharp. All right, down here in number 2, if you need to, you could fill in the letters here, but you do not have to. It just might help you. So that one is pointing there. All right, that means this one gets raised, right? It's an F sharp. The next one, that gets raised, so that's C sharp. This one gets raised. See if you can figure these out. All right, number 3 and 4 are just like in the other one, but this one's treble clef, this one's bass clef. Number 3 is single eighth notes, and number 4 is dotted half notes. So draw my treble clef, draw my bass clef right away. F, single eighth note, sharp. B, single eighth note, sharp. Careful with your stems and flags. And in number 4, I'm doing dotted half notes. C, dot, sharp. A, dot, sharp. Or I could do the low A. Either one would be acceptable. If there are 2 ways to draw a note, I will take either one. But make sure I can tell where it is and that it's the correct note value. You just draw whole notes or something like that for all of them, it's not going to count. You gotta follow the directions. If you have any questions or you don't understand, please feel free to reach out, ask your questions. You'll also be able to ask some questions during class on Wednesday if needed. So I'll see you then.